Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to Shaving with Rich. Today's shave is brought to you by Sterling Spice, Old Spice, and a Sterling bore. The instrument of today is going to be the Jectah adjustable. Today's shave is also dedicated to our late Commander-in-Chief George Herbert Walker Bush, whose funeral was today, and my prayers and thoughts go with to his family and to our country, who's somewhat the less for his passing. I've already loaded the brush, and my bloom water is waiting in the scuttle here. This is a pretty good soap. I've used it a few times, and I think it's going to go well with Old Spice. I'm sure that old George probably had some experience with Old Spice, and I loaded the daylights out of this, so I probably have more product than I need. So if this is anything like other Sterling products, I'm going to have enough to grease the local land airport in case there's a problem. It's right now a kind of a thick mess. I'm going to put a little bit in here just to bring it down and then bump it up again. Watching some of the other guys out there doing their vlogs on the Shaving Cadre, and I want to applaud a new piff that's coming up with everything but the bathroom sink from our friend Spider. It has one whopping piff, as is Josh's from Dagwood Z. Has a massive piff going on. Both of those are going to require that you sign up for the shavingcadre.com and get a requisite number of good posts, and all that is completely worth it. And any of you guys who are not members of the Cadre right now, these are completely worth it for you to, and I hope enough incentive to get anybody who's even on the fence to come in and join our fun. Both of those are going to give you enough equipment to start your own shave den, and enough quantity to keep you going for quite a while. I like the smell of this soap. It reminds me, and that's a classic kind of a barbershop kind of scent. It's kind of spicy and nice. I know it's going to go well with Old Spice. That was my father's favorite fragrance. He used that exclusively for all the days I ever knew him. And just a lively soap, because it just jumps off the brush and shows all over you. So I've got that stuff all lathered up. Let's get going, huh? This is still using the Chinese injector blade, which are pretty darn good. And I don't think there's much way that I can fail with an injector unless I do something crazy with it. I'm also doing a little bit of physical therapy while we're doing this. It's passive, trying to stretch out those tendons. I may have this dialed up a bit, but that just means I'll have to be a little more careful. Because I like adjustable razors. I have a pretty good selection of them in my stable. And I remember this one, I think it's a Type M. It's what my father had just before he passed away. And search as I might for it, I haven't been able to find it, so I went out and bought one. And I'm pretty glad I did. I have a couple other injectors, but none of them are as versatile as this one. I can use it, adjust it to suit my tastes. I think that's a good thing. Speaking of Dad's stories, and thinking of stories that George Walker Bush told of his father during the funeral services today. I promised you guys that I'd tell you about Dad in the Spring story. When I told you the other day about Dad and his station wagon, and he drove that hard. He used it pretty hard. He used it to pull trailers with, and we had a coal trailer when we were kids, and that's how we heated our house. We go to the mine to the east of us, south and east of us, into coal country with our little trailer that he made, and we would go to the mines and pick up coal that fell off the trucks and stuff. We'd use that to load this trailer up, and then bring it back to the house. Well, with time and stuff, the back of that station wagon started to sag a little bit, and Dad was real concerned about the springs. So we took those springs apart and decided we were going to rebuild them ourselves. So we went to the junkyard and got some more springs that were of similar width as the ones in the Pontiac, and excuse me, and we unbuckled the differential and put those leaves down and started inserting additional leaves and replacing the broken ones. Yeah, I was under the car and Dad was behind the car jacking it around doing something. And what we didn't notice was as Dad was jacking up the back of the car, he had pulled the whole thing off of the jack stands. So the whole weight of the car was hanging from the bumper jack that Dad was using. I didn't notice it. I was looking at something else, working on shackles, I think. Well, the car started to turn, and Mom was standing out in the garage and grabbed me by my feet and dragged me out from under the car. And boom! The wagon landed on its frame right there in the garage. Would have pinched me in half like a turd. And I was a little shaken up, but Dad was unflapped, one thing he ever said was, why didn't you say something? I didn't notice, but Mom gave him a pretty rough time and didn't let me. I wouldn't let us do a whole lot more work out in the garage without her supervision. Excuse me, this thing is getting in the way. Without her supervision for quite some time. And it was a neat that wagon. Then sat kind of tail proud for a little while because the springs were a little strong, and we had to put different shocks on it, and it really kind of caused a little bit more work than we intended for it to, and it rode a little harder. But when he finally traded that car off, it was still sitting proud. The back end was a little high. I think of that projects and places we went with that thing were quite a deal. I kind of can't think of Dad without that car. Now he had, as he was getting roaming around the country in his youth, he always told stories about his special car, and that's something we'll talk about another time. But I will tell you that he was an Oldsmobile fan. Maybe that'll 51 Olds, that was his baby. He drove that one all over the country. That was when he was in the service. I guess it was, I think he bought it new, but I'm not sure. But I don't have a whole lot of stories that I remember, but I will relay one of those next time we get together. In any case, I think, as is usual for an injector, I think we did pretty good today. You can't hardly go wrong. And I'm just doing a little cleanup on the residuals alone, and this thing is doing a pretty good job. I'm going to do a quick cleanup, and I'll be right back to finish the shave. Welcome back. We got a pretty satisfactory shave. It was brought to us by today from Sterling Spice, Sterling Bore, and the instrument is the Schick adjustable injector. Thank you guys for coming to visit me today for the shave, and we look forward to you for the next one. And catch me on the pages at www.theshavingcadre.com. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.